What's up, nerds? It's Havoc, and today I've got something a little bit different for you. Um, this past weekend, well, it was actually earlier today, we had the semifinals through the finals of the MetaPlays monthly tournament. The one players, and in the top four, we had two brackets of Reakly and Hulksmash and Fergie and Ray, all just exceptional 1v1 players at the top of their level. And you'll notice that I am not a player in this game, but I was casting the tournament today. You guys can check that out on the MetaPlays description. Um, but I wanted to revisit this game specifically. This game was my favorite game of the tournament, and considering spoiling it a little bit in the title of this video, just to make sure that we're getting people in to see this really, really exceptionally interesting game between Reakly and Hulksmash. So as a reminder, these guys are in the top four bracket of the 1v1 players that registered for this tournament. And yeah, it was just different. It was different than what we normally see. And I want to break down from to the best of my ability. I want to break down specifically Hulksmash this game. I just thought what he did was so interesting, so unique, and so I wanted to share it with you guys in this setting. So that I'm just gonna jump into it. So we're playing on Twin Beaches. This is one of the wider maps in the pool, and generally speaking, I would say probably historically been more allies favored, specifically US favored. Because of its width, it provides lots of avenues for US players to attack from many angles. It allows you many opportunities to pivot between the beach side, plus 10 fuels, and this high fuel up here in the north. And, you know, we've got, so in this tournament, there was a battle group ban process that the players went through where they were allowed to ban one battle group for each faction. And, yeah, it just made for some really interesting and dynamic games.
Rifleman reporting.
Capture complete, sir.
We can see Reakly here is locked in heavy weapons, probably going for that late game Pershing. And meanwhile, we've got Hulksmash with a triple pile opener. He's gone for the two pioneers on the south side. And he's gone, first Pioneer went to capture the north, plus 10 fuel, also going for the munitions. Second Pioneer and third Pioneer down south to the beach where he's now taking the BP. He's connected his plus 10 fuel. Grenadier going to take an unfavorable engagement here against the Rifleman. Looks like Hulksmash is content to secure the plus 5 or issuing a retreat order for his Grenadiers. Completely fine. And meanwhile, we've got the Pioneers moving down here in the south. Now, at this level of the game, as you guys can imagine, the early game is very, very, very important because it sets the stage for the next 5 to 11 minutes, which is going to dictate which player is going to have tempo and kind of precedent and power to be aggressive in the game. And so normally, I want to stop here. Normally, this plus 10 fuel is very contentious at the beginning of most big games on Twin Beaches. And if you dedicate enough forces to it for either side, oftentimes it is possible to secure it and start building a lead. Because most of the time, you end up in a situation like this where both players have one of their scouting units down by the beach capturing, and most of their combat troops focus up towards this plus 10. And what Hulksmash did in this game to mitigate that is he expected that he would be forced into a competition for this plus 10 fuel that he may or may not win. And so to compensate for that, he did the triple pioneer opener and dedicated 2 of his pioneers down south to apply pressure on the beach, because how this matchup usually works, especially if you send scouts to the south side at the beginning of the game, very typical for here. It is possible for the scout to beat out the pioneer if you get access to the building first, or if you're able to kite them from maximum range and kind of just like stutter step, like take a shot, backpedal, take a shot, backpedal, etc. But to make that impossible to do, Hulksmash commits 2 of his pioneers down here to the south plus 10, is willing to give up the plus 10, which Reakly is actually slow to capitalize on. He hasn't actually gone up here yet to check this. And now he's in a pretty significantly losing situation, because the double pioneer is going to fortify this plus 10. The scout's going to try to interrupt. And the grenadiers are approaching this high plus 10 fuel, where now Reakly has to decide, am I going to rotate my riflemen down south to force off this pioneer? Or am I going to commit all my riflemen up to this high plus 10 up here? But you'll notice that either way, Reakly is losing here, because he either commits all his riflemen up to this plus 10, he secures it, great. Hulksmash, you know, takes probably some long engagements from green cover, waits till Reakly closes the gap, and then he gets forced back. But that's totally fine, because if he's quick, and, covering his retreat back to base, making sure he's defending his cutoff properly, he's secured this plus 10 fuel in the south. So Hulksmash is still up. He's up 30 fuel to 20 here, you can see. So I really like this maneuver from Hulk in the early game, and you can see how this is going to set him up to create a very significant fuel advantage in the early game. Yeah, so let's keep watching, see what happens. So Reakly recognizes he's going to lose his plus 10 in the south. Hulksmash forcing the scout back into the high lighthouse here. Reakly decides to commit his troops to the high plus 10 here. Hulksmash 3rd Grenadier in production, taking a very nice long-range engagement.
Crates of grenades are on their way to us.
Now we've got grenades in production for Reakly.
They have taken our victory point.
Now Hulk able to hold this plus 10. He's still getting poked away at by the scout.
Initiating construction of the
very good
Infantry
position here for these grenadiers. Either one of these riflemen closing the gap is going to result in them taking too much damage and being back. But like, this is fine. No?
Assault half-tracks will lead our
We're
boys
taking
to the
some
front.
winning engagements here.
Where the hell did they come
And now with the 3rd Grenadier showing up, Hulk's going to have the force to push back Reakly. Takes a pretty good nade there. That's a good chunk of damage from Reakly. But now you can see here. Now look at the map.
Activity near our munitions point.
So we committed the 3rd Rifleman from construction down to the south to push off the Pioneers, which created an opening for the 3rd Grenadier to come up here into the plus 10, force off this engagement against the force off these riflemen in a 3 versus 2 engagement. And now, while Reakly is going to recover his beachside fuel, Hulk, on the other hand, is now in the high plus 10 position and was able to bait Reakly into a series of engagements where he was constantly at a numbers disadvantage. And now he's going to take control of the center. And watch what happens. We'll watch what happens next. So tier 2 going up for Hulk. He's decided to bypass the fast tier 1, which I think is interesting. Tier 1 officer quarters is very powerful, especially on this map with such a grenadier heavy build. Forcing off the scout there in the north is a great call. Pioneer hiding in cover here, but Reakly actually has vision of the Pioneer. He can't fire at it, but he can see it.
That's it. Point's ours.
Now we've got 3 Grens in the middle here. It's like Hulk gonna bring his Grenadiers together and pop medical kits. Very nice. Gonna benefit from that on all of his troops that have taken health damage. Got a first 2-2-1 in production here. Reakly coming down south with the Rifleman to force off this Pioneer here. Try to secure his own advantage. Not great damage here on the Pioneer. Reakly throws a fantastic retreat grenade and picks up the kill on the Pioneer and scoops up the Flamer. So massive pickup here for Reakly. He is gonna also decapture the south side +10, but the 2-2-1 is gonna interrupt him and probably keep him from completing the capture. So we've got the triple merge Grenadier into the Pioneer here. He's gonna chase off the scout as well.
The enemy has cut us
2-2-1
off.
engaging from
We have
max range. He
territory
knows
out of
Reakly has
supply.
grenades because he saw them earlier. Now, commitment to the cutoff maneuver here by Hulksmash. 2-1. This Rifleman pretty
Permission
low.
granted to designate defensive lines. Allow.
And
Sector
this
overrun.
is where it gets interesting. So Hulksmash locks in Coastal Battlegroup and starts with designate defensive line and then moves to rapid fortification. I got so excited when I saw this because this is reminiscent of a build that I did last patch, not last patch, a couple patches ago before the veterancy rework, where rapid fortifications is a fantastic ability. You guys will see why throughout this game, but I really liked how Hulk used this one. But you can see here, the bunker is self-constructing, and it's a little bit cheaper than you would pay for a bunker that you're going to actually build with Pioneers by about 25 manpower. And then you can also see that it offers a 50% discount on the upgrades. So whether you're going medical bunker, MG bunker, if you're going support bunkers too, they're also reduced in cost from rapid fortifications. And you could prop these things up every, I can't remember what the cool. You could prop these things up and because they're self-constructing and they're relatively cheap, allowing you to concentrate your forces in other places and kind of just like slowly creep up the map with these bunkers is really nice. And how I did it a few patches ago was I was doing a interesting like coastal unit into Grenadier, and then I would pull the coastal back and convert it into a Panzer Grenadier, which is a fun trick, by the way, if you didn't know that. You can use transfer orders on coastal squads too. And I was using Panzer Grenadier Stummel and then usually like a forward medical bunker. But I had abandoned that because PGs, they got kind of nerfed post the veterancy rework, and so I tried to keep making it work, but it wasn't really working for me, so I kind of abandoned Coastal, and Coastal's kind of been like a meme. I think I have it in my bad tier for Wehrmacht at the moment. But like, man, this guy Hulksmash, he comes in here with his gigabrain macro ideas and hooks up something fierce. So, sorry, I'll stop spoiling, we'll get back into it. So, cutoff maneuver here from Hulksmash. Cutting off the entire beachside resources with his Grenadier concentration. Tactical force concentration here. Soft retreating his Grenadiers. Deterring the push in with his 2-2-1. And we've got a second 2-2-1 on the field.
2-2-1 scout card deployed.
Meanwhile,
Ability is active.
Reakly putting up motor pool. I have my own feelings about, but very, very typical for Reakly. Does manage to secure the cutoff. He's reconnected his +10 fuel. But Hulksmash amounting a very sizable fuel advantage.
Converting bunker to a medical facility.
23 fuel, 24 about. And now we've got Hulk's first bunker going up. He's got a medical bunker under the protection of the designate defensive line. Right up here in the middle. And what are we at? We're at 7 minutes. Now, in any other circumstance, I'm gonna pause here. In any other circumstance, like doing this at 7 minutes is suicide. But because of Hulk's exceptional maneuvering in the early game, he created a situation in which Reakly is down significantly fuel for 7 minutes. 7 minutes is a very typical like first or second light vehicle timing. Usually first light vehicle time. Especially if you're playing motor pool. If you're not playing armored battle group, like 6.5, 7 minutes is around the time you're going to see the first Greyhound. But Reakly, because of Hulk's fancy footwork in the early game around these plus 10 fuels, he created this gap that now Reakly is actually behind, and he's going to have to wait another about a half a minute before he start constructing this Greyhound. That created the opening for him to get this bunker up here, this medical bunker, for which Reakly doesn't really have any counter outside of the rifleman with the flamethrower that he happens to have. You know, he could get in there and flush this out. But it's going to be really tough to do because you've got reinforcements being constructed from the medical bunker. You've got the 25% damage resistance on the Grenadiers due to designate defensive line. Meanwhile, applying some continuous pressure here on the flanks with his 221s, keeping Reakly boxed in with his infantry so that he can't spread out on the map. And slowly building back the advantage, despite being down a little bit. He's got a 2 centimeter in production, which we like. I think is a great compliment to his composition. Provides some good firepower, some light AT capabilities. Ones here are going to catch up the scout. Second 221, move, contain, right? Great focus here on the cutoff from Hulk.
2 centimeter flak gun and crew
Look at this guy. He's just fortifying, getting reinforcements up. He's very content. 221, great, excellent munitions income here for Hulk. Firing the smoke grenade to try to finish the decapture at least. Hulk getting some fortifications up.
Reserve forces await deployment. The ability is ready.
And now he's unlocked Call the Reserves.
We may designate a defensive line at your command.
Panzerbuska on the second 221. Anticipating Reakly's first light vehicle. Let's get caught out here by the rifleman with the grenade. And now Hulk, what he's going to do now is he's going to anchor around this bunker, controlling the traversal point between the top fuel and the beach side with this fortified position. He's using the 221s to continuously contain Reakly's troops. And now that he's got the 20 millimeter on the field, he has an answer to a potential vehicle from Reakly. Combining that with the Panzerbuska upgrade on the 221 is going to make it very difficult for this first vehicle to do any work. Now, Reakly kind of switching the game up a little bit here. He decided to bypass the Greyhound, I should say, in favor of the Chaffee. I suppose, expecting or being afraid of not being able to take out both of these 221s with the Greyhound. And he's going to go for a quick shock value on this because Hulk has not yet seen this Chaffee. So he's going to try and catch it out here. Chaffee chasing through, misses the first shot. Continuing the chase on the 2-2-1. Does get the second shot. But then I think what happened here was Hulk probably... He was probably in tac map, right-clicked the 2-2-1, and then tried to reverse it back further, but he ended up actually rotating the thing. And Chaffee gets the blow here. So a bit of a loss here for Hulksmash, losing one of his 2-2-1s, but he's got some great value out of it. And meanwhile, again, you know, force concentration here around the medical bunker. 2 centimeter grenadiers nearby. Merge into it.
Jaeger light infantry on station.
Jaeger in production now. Panzerschreck gonna go up. Another anti-dive tool to deal with the light vehicle coming from Reakly. Done a great job of cutting off this plus. And this is like, yeah, look at this. He's just shuffling his troops back and forth here. You never see these kinds of maneuvers in 1v1s because they're really hard to pull off and highly susceptible to light vehicles. Damage in here from the mortar.
The enemy have taken our territory.
Getting a little bit distracted here. Very nice damage in on the rifleman from the here. And this is a great composition for Hulk. I mean, he's very comfortable right now. And in and around this medical bunker, he's not going to be worried at all about taking fights here. And it's super difficult for Reakly to play around this because it's not just as simple as just spreading out, because one way or another, he has to deal with this. Because if, hypothetically, okay, let's try to expand our scope of thinking as Reakly in this situation. He has essentially 2 options to prevent the game from spiraling out of control on a fuel income perspective. Okay, he's got so Hulk has access to his cutoff here on the beach side, so he has to protect this. He has the option of pushing forward into the +10, but in that case, Hulk is able to rotate from the center down towards the beach and essentially cut off this this push in here from Reakly. He's also got highly defensible buildings in the radius that he can flush out with flamers or with the 20mm. Not to mention, if Reakly leaves this exposed, then he could push forward from the defensive line that he's designated and just secure this and let Reakly have the south side beach until he's ready to make a back in here. On the other hand, if he goes to the north, again, like, this position is so close by and so well supported between the designated defensive line and the medical bunker that it's going to be virtually impossible to make an effective push into the +10 without having to deal with the brunt of the defenses here. So Hulk is effectively in the perfect position to set up this staging area and this defensive line. And he's created this wedge around, like, Reakly cannot break through this wedge. He has to go through it. He has no choice. So we'll see him attempt to break it over the next little bit here.
Enemy forces have captured a victory point.
We're doing some good damage to the 2 centimeter, but anytime the riflemen start to close in, they just start getting chewed up by this 2 centimeter. Tier 4 going up for Hulksmash. Great tempo here into the Tier 4. Grenade forces him back. 20mm creeping up here on the infantry. Continuous repairs up here from the double pioneer, despite the decent harassment here from the river. Jaeger with the Shrek out of position. Again, 20mm providing great fire support here in the center.
Ability activated.
And now we've got Call the Reserves. So Hulk, anticipating a push here from Reakly, he can see he's starting to get enveloped by some of Reakly's troops. He's also sees that Reakly's got a good defensive position here. He grabbed the garrison with his rifleman. He triggers Call the Reserves, which gives him 30% infantry, 30% harder to hit, and granted 1 reinforcement every 10 seconds near bunkers. And so he's completely prepared for a big push here from Reakly, even though I don't even know if he's going to get it now that he's triggered this Call to Reserves. And all these reinforcements are going to be free. Panzerbuska pushing in here on the Chaffee. Got a little bit out of position here. Grenadier forced away on the north side. Pioneers rotating down to the south while he's occupied up here in the north and committing his forces. Now we see a little indecisive about what he wanted to go for. He decides on the engineer and a Greyhound. 20mm still driving a wedge in the American infantry here from the center. Very difficult to break this. Mortar's attempting, but you can see with the designate defensive line is providing a lot of damage resistance to the mortar. It's just not chipping away enough. Meanwhile, Reakly pivoted down to the Hulksmash pivoted down to the south, decaptured both of the VP and the +10 fuel on the beach. And Hulk in a super comfortable position. I mean, let's look at the resource disparity. Look, Hulk up almost 100 fuel over Reakly. That's an entire tier structure. In this case, it's about to shape up as either a Brumbar or Panzer IV, whatever Hulk is preferring at this point. He can afford both. Grenadiers forcing all the troops away. Greyhound taking a big chunk of damage in here from the 2cm. Now, we've got the Panzerbuska here to prevent the dive in from the light vehicles. We also have the Jägerschreck. And now, Reakly just built a Greyhound a minute ago, minute and a half. And Hulksmash is about to finish his first tier 4 vehicle.
The ability is ready for use.
Another nice rapid fortification bunker automatically getting constructed here on the south VP.
Panzer IV is field ready.
Actually gets caught out here by the rifleman. Reakly trying to make a jockey play here on the medical bunker. Uses the mortar barrage from the captain.
Upgrade on the way.
E4 about to catch out this rifleman here in the south.
The enemy has
Jaeger
claimed our
rotating to
territory
hit
for
the
their own.
Chaffee here.
Territory lost.
Tapping away at it. This is kind of what we talked about, right? Like, Hulk, Reakly pushing down towards the south side. Hulk able to just completely wedge Reakly and has access here to the cutoff on this side. Big shot in from the P4. Finishes off that rifleman. Reakly got a little bit greedy, overstaying his welcome here on this south +10. Getting a little ambitious here with the P4, moving to see if he can locate the Chaffee. I think he'll find it. Does miss the shot, collides with the rock instead. And he's in pursuit. He's one shot away. Very nice smoked shell in there from the Chaffee. Misses the last shot there. It looks like he's going to squeak out of range here. Meanwhile, 20mm Jägerschreck and the Panzerbuska collapse here on the Greyhound in the north at the same time. So great presence here from Hulksmash. You can see the commands he's issued all over the place. And this wedge, again, continuing to pay dividends here as he splits Reakly in two and is able to isolate one of his vehicles and pick up the kill. P4 still in pursuit, but he's not going to get outrun by the Chaffee.
Territory sector lost.
Then he gets caught out here by the M1AT gun. Good shot comes in. Oh, is killing blow away for the Chaffee. But this is very risky. Good try. Good. We're both one shot away, each of them. HP.
Give us a target.
Second P4 in production for Hulksmash. He's going to come back, circle back to his bunker here in the center.
Get back in the fight.
Heals back up.
Ability ready for you,
Rapid
Commander.
fortification MG bunker here is going to cover the south side, which is really nice. Prevent any potential area.
You need us?
Ability activated.
The rapid fortification bunker here, going up here in the north, right? Slowly chunking out the map with his extra manpower. We'll wait till this finishes. You can see here, look at how cheap these are. These discounted bunkers. Look at this. This is so cheap. Right? Reduces the manpower and munitions cost of all defenses, defense upgrades, and mines. It's also a... That's an overtime. Meanwhile, this bunker can be built for 130. But it does stack on the munitions cost, which is crazy. Like, look how cheap it is on the munitions side for the machine gun, medical bunker, repair bunker. A little bit more on the manpower side, but this frees up him to plant more mines, or he could get more Jaeger Treks if he wanted to. Lots of options here.
Installing an MG4.
Great fortifications here from Hulk.
Points left.
Second P4 on the field here. Now, the one thing that Hulk has to be wary of is Reakly is getting relatively close to the Pershing. He's about 3.5 CPs away, and he's definitely going to have the fuel for it. It's a question of, is he going to have the discipline to make sure that he doesn't bleed too much manpower in the meantime? And the Pershing could come on the field and be an absolute menace. So he does have to be wary of that. Now, he has no idea what Reakly has selected in terms of Battlegroup, because there's been no indication so far. But he does know that Reakly has it in the Battlegroup, so it is on the table. Chaffee here going to get caught by the P4. No attempt to capitalize here by the Panzerbuska and the 221. Definitely could have caught that Chaffee out with the Panzerbuska and the... Looks like he was just reacting here. Good. Captain Mortar Barrage coming in on the bunker again. Getting saved by the defensive line here.
It shall be a repair bunker, Commandant.
By the infantry. Very difficult to dislodge from this designated defensive line position. You can see his access to his cutoff is so easy. It's just a couple of steps away.
Schützen-spaced armor will be applied to Panzers. Post haste.
Now Hulksmash going for the skirts upgrade on his P4s. I like this. I prefer to go officer quarters first because I think the turret traversal is super important. Also, I want to get access to the veterancy a little bit earlier. But skirts is good in this context because it's gonna give him the P4s an extra shot to kill.
Good hunting.
They've opened fire! Fire back!
So,
The ability is
that
ready.
M1AT gun on the rifleman here, but
Making
applying
provisions for an officer's
good
quarters.
even pressure on the south side of the map.
They still have 250 points left. We must persevere.
Does DDL give damage reduction against just infantry? It looks like
I like it now!
infantry and bunkers.
Rounds coming down!
Wondering if it affected the.
Next enemy fire! Orders complete! Jäger, we're
Headquarters has an
Reakly,
officer
unfortunately, not able to make good use of this Chaffee anymore. Basically been outscaled. Very commanding position here for Hulksmash. 494 VP still. We can see, so let's pause here. Let's talk about what options does Reakly have. So I think he made a couple mistakes up to this point. I think the late Greyhound was the wrong choice. If you're going to go Greyhound, get the Greyhound first. I think that definitely would have served him a lot better throughout the early game. Yes, you know, you're susceptible to the 2-2-1, the Panzerbuska, but like that would have been the case with the Chaffee or with the Greyhound. But because the Chaffee here is just adding no value at this point. It's kind of dead weight. It's really, you know, pretty much impossible to find an opening to try to deal some meaningful damage, and the only targets that it has that are viable are the P4 and the the 2-2-1 with the Panzerbuska. So he doesn't really have like a lot of choices. You can see here he's kind of just like trying to get a little bit of using it against this Grenadier here in the south. On top of that, I have talked repeatedly about how this airburst barrage is the best thing on the American mortar. However, in this specific context, the secondary option for the American mortar, which is the timed fuse barrage, if I'm not mistaken, timed fuse HE barrage, would have been a much better choice because when combined with the Captain barrage, it will 100% guaranteed kill this bunker. Because the fuse barrages are designed specifically for the purpose of dismantling fortification. And so dislodging this bunker would have created the opening that Reakly needed to close in and decapture this designate defense. So the airburst, while, you know, generally speaking, the optimal choice, in this context, it's actually hurting him because he's not able to use it to dislodge this bunker, which is the real issue here. It's not the 2 centimeters a problem, but what's more of a problem is that it's protected by designated defensive line and he can constantly heal it with the med. So this airburst is meaningless if Reakly is, or not Reakly, if Hulksmash is paying any attention and doesn't just outright lose the flak 30 to his airburst barrage that he's getting hit by. So pretty clear there were some mistakes there by Reakly. I think also he's got this engineer. He could have potentially made a maneuver with the engineer up to these buildings the way he did with the rifleman and gone in here for a satchel. He also brought the flamethrower around here a couple of times and just decided to sit in the building instead of getting some bursts onto this bunker. So letting this bunker sit here the whole game, along with this +5 munitions point, has just created this insurmountable wedge between the beach side and the north side of the map that he can't punch through. And now he's kind of in a position where, like, the tools that he has, I mean, it spiraled out of control, evidently, right? If we look at the fuel distribution, what are we at here? There we go. 131 fuel over Reakly for Hulksmash is a massive, massive resource. Almost insurmountable. But if anything is going to make it up, it's going to be the Pershing. So what we have to do here as Reakly is fight as much as possible to get CPs faster, accelerate the rate at which we're getting CPs by fighting, killing things, losing things. Don't lose units, obviously, but fight as much as possible to get your Pershing out because time is ticking. You're on the triple cap now, you're sub 200 VPs. And Hulk is just going to keep building up his Panzer Force to deal with what you've got. Hulk sitting on plus 43 fuel now. Pretty crazy. Hulk putting up another bunker, repair bunker this time, all the way, I think a little too far back, honestly. I think right here for the repair bunker would have been completely fine. Still well covered in the designate defensive line area. Bringing it all the way back here just means that, like, his panzer's got to traverse that much further before they can get back on the map and start being active again.
Our barracks is under attack.
Actually doesn't. Here with the Pioneers to repair. Second P4 applying adequate pressure here. And I could see a third P4 coming out here potentially for Hulk. We'll see what he goes for next. Bigger Shrek here on the field, getting into an action like that. What?
Sector lost. No contact.
2 centimeters, getting some killing. Same with this Grenadier.
Incoming!
More continuous pressure here on the cutoff.
Think they know we're here.
I would like to see the Panzerbus go just a little bit further up, providing a little bit more vision for these units. But it's also possible that he is kind of deliberately parked it here just to see Reakly's attempted troop movements to the north side. That's right. And Stoss trooping here for Hulk. I actually think this is a mistake. But he's so far ahead now, it's kind of hard to read. Whether or not it's a mistake. I think a third Panzer would be completely fine here. Very content to just chip away at this from long range. Another concrete bunker going up here on the front line. Another rapid fortification bunker. Probably going to upgrade this one with a machine gun, I have to imagine.
Understood. MD-42 upgrade on the way.
9 CPs here for Reakly. They're in position to protect against the Chaffee push. Round in there, closing in a little bit more, but not getting too greedy. Hulk very comfortable to try to win this game on VP. Super close.
Complete.
Second AT gun from Reakly. I kind of like this. It'll be a good way to support his Pershing when it eventually comes out. And yeah, I think the Stoss is a mistake here from Hulk. It's not bad, but it's not... Panzer is definitely better in this situation. His infantry is almost a non-factor, so... The Stoss is kind of just adding insult to injury for Hulk. Because Reakly's infantry is not competitive. They don't have bars.
Enemy down to 75 points. Do not let up.
Another Panzer here I think would have been a much better. Here we go. Pershing's out on the field now. And he has to start making some space, otherwise...
Will soon be available.
Okay, Chaffee drives through here. Pershing coming out. Alright, getting a little more aggressive now. Panzers are kind of low. Has to repair this Panzerbusca along with this P4. Other P4 is on the north side. He is going to secure this south side VP here. Pershing going to chunk down that bunker very nicely.
Control of a victory point.
Gonna catch this Grenadier out of position.
One of our the ability is ready for use.
Listen, if anyone can claw back from this kind of a game, it's the Pershing.
They cannot withstand us.
Oh no, ends up hitting the mine here with the Pershing instead of the Chaffee. He's gonna pick up a consolation kill on the Grenadier, but it might be too little too late in this situation. But Reakly going for the second capture here. And watch this. So, this is a perfect example of an experienced player showing their experience. Okay? Hulk has two options here. He can rush to address Reakly at his VP, or he can make a play for the VP that Reakly just captured and get on his retreat path. Now, both choices are acceptable, but there are some pros and cons to each. The pros of attacking here is that the Pershing is engine damage. So there is an opening for us to potentially close on, get around, and kill the Pershing by shooting it in the air. On the other hand, I'm going to have to deal with the AT gun, the rifleman, the captain, and the Chaffee that are all concentrated here. If I go here, I'm met with mostly infantry. Pershing is engine damage. He needs to get repaired. So as long as I can spot out this engineer and apply some pressure to it, he's not going to be able to get this back up so that it's mobile. So I think the better option here is definitely to collapse on this south beachside VP. But let's see what Hulk does.
Grenadiers have completed the task.
Kind of just go dismantling the MG bunker here. Not sure why. Oh, he used the smoke round. That's why I wasn't firing. Kind of just a big attack move down towards the beach. Not bad.
Tank destroyer.
Engineer getting the repair in. Should be focusing it here with the Jaeger squad, but he missed that. Pack, or M1 I should say, taking a lot of damage. Oh, that rifleman just gets chewed up on retreat there. Martyr in position here. Hitting the Chaffee. Oh, he's gonna get caught here. Wow, look at that kill. One shot each.
Marder tank destroyer is out of contact.
20 centimeter, or 2 centimeter almost picks up the captain. Pershing on a rampage. Catches out this infantry squad. Gotta get behind some green cover here and you'll be alright. Here Shrek needs to get in this building to protect this area. 2 centimeter caught out now. A little bit sloppy here from Hulk. Sensing a bit of fatigue, micro fatigue in this game. Grenadier caught out again.
The enemy
It's going
is
to be
striking
another
his
kill
own
here.
infantry company.
Yeah. Another kill for the Pershing on the Grenadier squad. Martyr in production for Hulk. So I do also want to call out here, I do think this was a bit of a mistake on Hulk's part. I understand the rationale for going for Martyrs, but as a reminder, he did not tech support elements in the early game. He went from 221s to 2 centimeter straight into tier 4, which was great. I think the Martyr here is concerned over the Pershing, but if, like we talked about, I think if Hulk had gone for that 3rd Panzer earlier, that he would have had adequate forces to push in to this section when the Pershing hit the mine. And he could have got around it with 3 P4s, got behind it, killed it for sure, as well as the AT gun, supported by the rest of his infantry in the 2 centimeter. And I think side teching to this Martyr, it cost him quite a bit because it wasn't just the cost of the Martyr, it's the 45, 240 plus 150 and 50. Which is definitely not worth it for a Martyr. I think that sticking to the Panzers probably would have been the better choice here. But it's neither really here nor there because he's amassed such a massive advantage. He's only got 13 CPs to close out on. So as long as he doesn't throw completely, this should be in the bag. After he gets caught out here. Oh.
Sector down. We have lost a flak gun.
2 centimeter gets caught up by the Pershing here. Very nice smoke from the Jaeger squad.
Marder tank destroyer is ready
Another
for combat.
barrage here on the bunker. Oh my gosh. Captain Mortar kills the 221. That's crazy. Fans are caught out by the Pershing here. He's got to stop the capture. He recognizes if he doesn't capture it, he's going to lose. Oh, Martyr's in here to help now too. Pershing taking a lot of punishment here from the Panzer, the Jaeger. Martyr's closing in. 2nd Panzer chasing it down.
10 points remain.
Oh. That 3P4 goes down to the Pershing. Closes and kills on the another Chaffee coming in. And he runs out of APs. Very well played. Really just like a massive ups to Hulksmash. This is conventionally a difficult map to play Wehrmacht on, let alone Coastals. And he really just put on a masterclass showing the absolute most that you could make of Coastal Battlegroup in a 1v1. and turned it into a really important victory against Reakly. Yeah, and so he was up at this point. This was the first game between the best of 3 series between the two of them, and this put him up 1-0, and set him off to a really, really, really good start. So big shout out to Hulksmash, dude. Like, just incredible strategic thinking, great macro strategy, good execution on the micro side as well. But obviously, you know, at the top level, you really have to think about like expanding beyond the meta to think about the maps that you're on, think about the opponents that you're up against, studying them, knowing their habits, and then breaking those down into how can I completely shut down this player in the way that they're comfortable playing. And Hulksmash saw that opportunity with Reakly, and he executed it got a little sloppy at the end. I think there was, you know, the some of the late game macro decisions around what he was doing was a little bit questionable, but like all throughout, the early game was just perfectly played. The mid game, getting the medical bunker up early on, plus the designate defensive line, just creating that anchor position that he was able to continuously push from throughout the entire game, was perfect. It was just perfectly executed. Really, really well played. So I wanted to cast this game and kind of share it with you guys, just give you a bit of perspective. I'm debating naming this the How to Coastal Battlegroup featuring Hulksmash, because he really just put on a masterclass of the best of that battle group in this. And so I wanted you guys to see it. Hope you got it. Hope you got something. Hope you learned something from this. Let me know if you want to see more of this kind of content, especially like the competitive stuff. Like I mentioned, we did do the MetaPlays tournament this weekend. I was thinking about uploading some commentary over some more of those replays. So if you'd like to see more of those, please let me know in the comments section down below. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to put new videos, several new videos a week. Yeah, appreciate you all coming by. Have a great one.